Pokémon versus Digimon. It's the question that has defined an entire generation of anime fans. For decades, we've debated which had the better story, the cooler monsters or the more epic battles. But there's one area where the debate is already over: popularity. Pokémon isn't just popular, it's the highest grossing media franchise of all time. It's bigger than Star Wars, bigger than Mickey Mouse, bigger than Marvel. Digimon, for all its strengths, isn't even in the same league commercially. So what happened? Was it just that Pokémon came first? Was it the games? Today, we're going to break down the key reasons why one became a global empire while the other became a beloved cult classic. The biggest and simplest reason for Pokemon's success is that it got there first. Pokemon Red and Green launched in Japan in 1996, and by the time the anime and games hit the US in 1998, it was a full-blown craze. Pokemania was already happening. Digimon, on the other hand, didn't arrive in the US until 1999. By then, Pokemon wasn't just a new show, it was a cultural institution. Digimon was immediately labeled by many as a copycat or a ripoff, even though the two have very different origins. It was fighting an uphill battle from day one, but it wasn't just about being first, it was about who was backing it. Pokemon was a Nintendo property. Nintendo was already a titan in the gaming world thanks to Mario and Zelda. They had the marketing power, the distribution channels, and the perfect platform for it, the Game Boy. Digimon was backed by Bandai and started as a spin-off of the Tamagotchi virtual pets. While Bandai is a huge company, they didn't have the same kind of gaming foothold in the West that Nintendo did. Pokemon had the perfect launch at the perfect time with the perfect partner. It was a marketing perfect storm that Digimon just couldn't compete with. And that brings us to the core difference: the games. The Pokemon games were masterpieces of accessible design. The goal was simple and instantly understandable. You walk in the grass, you find a monster, you catch it, you train it. It's a classic JRPG formula boiled down to its most addictive and rewarding elements. Digimon's games were a lot more complex. The early games, like Digimon World, were extensions of the Tamagotchi. You had to raise your Digimon. You had to feed it, take it to the bathroom, praise it, scold it. It could get sick and even die. And Digivolution wasn't a straight line. It was a branching path based on how you raised your partner. For hardcore fans, that complexity is amazing. But for a kid just looking for a fun adventure, it was a lot to handle. Pokemon gave you a sense of accomplishment and a dopamine hit with every badge you won and every Pokemon you caught. Digimon asked you to take on the responsibility of a digital pet. Pokemon's simple, rewarding loop was perfect for a handheld console and a mass audience. It was easy to learn, hard to master, and incredibly addictive. Digimon's games were often more ambitious, but they were also inconsistent and far less welcoming to casual players. This philosophy of accessibility carried over to the anime. The Pokemon anime was brilliant in its simplicity. For 25 years, the formula was the same. Ash Ketchum, a 10-year-old who never ages, travels to a new region to become a Pokemon master. You could jump into pretty much any episode of Pokemon and understand what was going on. It was a Saturday morning cartoon in the most classic sense. It was designed for syndication, where episodes could be aired out of order without much confusion. Digimon, as we've discussed before, was a serialized story. It had complex arcs, character development, and high stakes. If you missed a few episodes, you were lost. The main cast changed every season. This made for a richer, more rewarding viewing experience for dedicated fans, but it was a huge barrier for casual viewers. If a kid was flipping through channels and landed on Digimon, they might not have any idea what was going on. If they landed on Pokemon, they'd see a kid and his cute mouse trying to win a battle. It's instantly understandable. Pokemon's consistency, with Ash and Pikachu as the unchanging faces of the franchise, made it an easy, reliable brand for kids and parents to latch onto. Finally, let's talk about the designs and the overall brand identity. Pokemon's aesthetic is, for the most part, cute, cuddly, and non-threatening. Pikachu is the perfect mascot, a small electric mouse that's adorable but can still pack a punch. The designs are simple, memorable, and easily translatable into toys, plushies, and other merchandise. Digimon, on the other hand, often leaned into a cooler and edgier aesthetic. The designs were more complex, often featuring sharp angles, metal armor, and a ton of guns. Yes, lots of guns. This was a reflection of its origins as a Tamagotchi for boys. While fans loved the cool factor of Digimon, Pokemon's broader appeal was a massive advantage. It appealed to boys and girls equally. It was safe and marketable to a much wider age range. Parents were more likely to buy Pokemon merchandise for their young kids. This catch-all appeal, combined with a consistent and recognizable mascot in Pikachu, made Pokemon a marketing juggernaut. Digimon's identity was more niche, and its lack of a single consistent mascot like Pikachu made it harder to build a globally recognized brand. So when you put it all together, it's not really a mystery why Pokemon became the bigger franchise. It wasn't just one thing. It was a combination of perfect timing, the backing of a gaming giant, and a core philosophy of simplicity and accessibility that was woven into every part of the brand. From the games to the anime to the creature designs, Pokemon was built from the ground up to be as welcoming and broadly appealing as possible. It's a simple, powerful, and endlessly repeatable formula. Catch, train, battle. It's a world you can easily step into and feel a sense of progress and achievement. Digimon, on the other hand, always prioritized its story and its characters above all else. It demanded more from its audience. It asked you to keep up with a complex plot, to manage the needs of a digital pet, and to grapple with more mature themes. And in the end, that's the real difference. Pokemon was designed to be a global phenomenon. Digimon was designed to be a great story. But I want to leave you with a final thought. For years, the dynamic has been set. Pokemon is the undisputed king and Digimon is the underdog. But lately, something interesting has been happening. While Pokemon sales are still untouchable, the reception to their recent mainline games like Scarlet and Violet has been mixed, to say the least. Fans have been vocal about the technical issues, the lack of polish, and the feeling that the games are being rushed out. Meanwhile, Digimon has been quietly putting out bangers. Games like the Digimon Story series, including the recent Time Stranger, have been praised by fans for their deep mechanics, engaging stories, and for delivering exactly what the fanbase wants. They feel like complete, polished experiences made with care. Now, this doesn't mean Digimon is going to outsell Pokemon anytime soon. But it does feel like there's a shift happening. As Pokemon's quality has been questioned, more and more people are looking at what Digimon has to offer and are being incredibly impressed. So while Pokemon won the initial war for popularity, the battle for quality in the modern era is a lot more interesting. And for fans of monster taming games, that's a very exciting thing. But what do you think? Do you agree with these points? Are there any other big reasons you think Pokemon took over the world? Let me know down in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.